Have you ever felt like your goals are within reach, but just when you start, the motivation fades away? You dream big, but obstacles and self-doubt creep in, leaving you wondering if you're even capable of achieving them. Today, I want to tell you about a young boy who faced those very struggles. His journey wasn't easy. He failed countless times, but through sheer self-discipline, he transformed his life. And just when he thought he couldn't go any further, something extraordinary happened. Stick around, and this story might just change how you approach your own dreams. In a quiet little town, there was a boy named Cristiano, just 15 years old. His biggest dream was to join his school's football team. Every afternoon, he'd watch the players practicing, imagining himself scoring the winning goal. But there was one problem. Cristiano had a habit of starting strong and quitting just as quickly. One day, he gathered enough courage to approach the football coach, Mr. Edward. Nervously, he said, "Coach, I want to be on the team." Mr. Edward looked him over and said, "Wanting isn't enough, Cristiano. If you're serious, you'll need to commit to daily practice at 5 a.m. for the next month. Can you do that?" Cristiano nodded, determined, but he had no idea how difficult it would be. On the first morning, Cristiano woke up full of energy, excited about his dream. He ran to the field and gave his best. The second day was tougher, but he managed to push through. By the third day, however, his alarm rang, and instead of getting up, he rolled over and went back to sleep. Later that day, when he showed up at practice, Mr. Edward looked disappointed. "Discipline is the key to success, Cristiano. Without it, you'll get nowhere," the coach said. Those words struck a chord. Cristiano realized that his lack of commitment was the root of his struggles. That night, he made a decision to change. He moved his alarm clock across the room so he'd have to get out of bed to turn it off. He laid out his practice gear the night before and told himself he'd practice for just 10 minutes on days he felt unmotivated. Over the next week, Cristiano built a routine. Slowly, his mornings became more disciplined, but the challenges didn't stop there. His body ached from practice, and his classmates mocked him. "Why bother? You're not even good enough," they sneered. Cristiano began doubting himself. One evening, as he sat in his room feeling defeated, his older brother Jacob came in and asked what was wrong. Cristiano poured out his frustration. "No matter what I do, I feel like I'll never be good enough." Jacob smiled and said, "Cristiano, success isn't about being the best overnight. It's about showing up every day, even when it's hard. Focus on the process, not just the end goal." Encouraged by his brother's words, Cristiano shifted his mindset. Instead of aiming for perfection, he focused on small improvements. One week on dribbling, another on passing. Gradually, he began to see progress. Then, just 2 weeks before team selections, disaster struck. Cristiano twisted his ankle during practice. The pain was unbearable, and he was forced to rest. Fear and frustration consumed him. "What if I don't recover in time?" he thought. For days, Cristiano felt like all his effort had been wasted. But then he remembered Jacob's advice: focus on the process. While his ankle healed, Cristiano spent his time studying football strategies and visualizing himself on the field. As soon as he could, he resumed light training, working on his upper body and game awareness. Finally, the day of the trials arrived. Cristiano's heart raced as he watched other players perform effortlessly. Doubts crept in. Maybe I'm just not good enough. But when his name was called, he took a deep breath and stepped onto the field. He wasn't the fastest or the most skilled, but his determination and focus shone through. At the end of the trials, the coach began announcing the selected players. Cristiano's name wasn't mentioned. His chest tightened as disappointment washed over him. Then Mr. Edward paused and said, "And finally, someone who has shown incredible grit and growth, Cristiano." The team erupted in applause. Cristiano could hardly believe it as the coach approached him and said, "You earned this, not because you're the best player, but because you've shown the discipline and hard work that every team needs." Months later, during the inter-school tournament, Cristiano's team faced a tie. In the final moments, the ball came to him. He dodged two defenders and scored the winning goal. The crowd went wild. Cristiano had gone from doubting himself to becoming the team's hero. After the game, a journalist asked him, "What's the secret to your success?" Cristiano smiled and replied, "Discipline. It's about showing up every day, even when it's tough. Dreams only work if you do." Cristiano's story reminds us that success isn't just about talent, it's about persistence and the courage to keep going. Whether it's in sports, studies, or life, small, consistent efforts can create extraordinary results. What's the biggest challenge you faced while chasing your dreams? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Soul Scripted for more life-changing tales.